Hey everybody, and welcome back to Jeff Also Cooks. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Revenge Loaf. This recipe comes courtesy of a post I saw on Reddit. So in that vein, we're going to start with a story time. When I was little, my mom's meatloaf was my favorite food, but only her meatloaf. I didn't like anyone else's, and she told me she would teach me how to make it when I was older. And when I was like 19, she finally taught me, but she told me never to tell anyone else. And I was like, that's weird, but okay. Anyway, she was super f***ing homophobic and abusive to me when I told her I was gay, so here's the recipe. Alright, we're just gonna walk back in pretending this isn't the same shot from the start of the video. Thumbs up there. So according to this post, you can get all these ingredients at the dollar store. We're gonna be starting off with some Knorr onion soup mix, some barbecue sauce, not made yet. We got some Dijon, oh, there we go, right way around. Some steak sauce and some ketchup. Wow, presentation. Be sure to put on your prerequisite purple gloves, albeit with some difficulty. And then lovingly pick up your barbecue sauce packet, give it a few taps. Be sure to tickle the sack, as that's gonna help all the powder settle to the bottom. Give it a quick sniff, be surprised for a second, give it another, and then place it into 2 cups of boiling water and simmer on medium until thickened. And now for the fun part. This recipe calls for an egg. However, I do not have one, so I'm going to substitute that with a piece of brown bread, about a teaspoon of olive oil, and just enough milk to soak the bread. Traditionally, eggs in meatloaf are used as a binding agent to sort of hold the loaf together. This can also be accomplished with a variety of things, or so I learned when I was Googling egg replacements so I didn't have to run to the store, because I am quite lazy and I was filming this late at night. The next step is to bust out your scale, try and figure out how many grams there are in a pound and how many grams would equal out to 4 pounds. This is tougher than you think, because there are 460 grams per pound, but when you factor in the self-doubt and the fact that you suck at mental math, it can take some time. Regardless, measure out way more ground beef than you ever expected to, and add it into the bowl with your bread and 1 package of dollar store onion soup mix, a tablespoon of that dollar store barbecue sauce you made earlier, a tablespoon of Dijon, ketchup, and steak sauce. Quickly double check your recipe because that doesn't sound right. Put your gloves back on and then mix thoroughly to combine. Now normally you don't need a meatloaf, but due to the lack of egg and the fact that we substituted with bread, we're gonna sort of over knead this. This is gonna result in a tougher loaf, but it's gonna hold together. Now for this recipe specifically, I don't recommend you smell the mixture because it smells bad. Go ahead and get this little slight against God into a loaf pan, or 2 in my case, and then throw it into a 350-degree oven for about 2 hours, in which time you can take off your sweater, put your sweater back on, spin your cutting board for absolutely no reason, talk to a dog, and before you know it, your loaf is out of the oven, and I gotta say, it smells amazing. The raw mixture smelled like actual physical death. The cooked version will fill your house with just the most pleasant, home-smelling smell of any meatloaf. I don't think that made any sense. After giving it a proper amount of time to rest, you are now free to cut the meatloaf into edible portions. But the real question is, how does this taste? It tastes okay, but there is a cheat code for any meatloaf recipe you end up using. Any meatloaf, you can throw some ketchup at it, and yeah, actually it tastes pretty good. It's a strange version of the meatloaf, pretty homely, it only costs a few dollars to make, and its okay flavoring is made even better by the sweet, sweet taste of revenge.